Where is my microphone? Hello. Okay, guys, hello. Can I turn it down a little more? I just want to have a little fun today, but there's a lot of things people don't know about. I've been doing this for a while, okay, and years ago I knew about this theory, but I decided I'd give it a little discussion live. Have some fun, you know? Hope that's not too loud. I'm just testing this thing out. You know, I had this thing not connect a moment ago, so I have to check it. I have to double check it and make sure that I have some sound or a live connection. Oh yeah, and my monetization too. That's also important. Got to do that. I haven't even been doing tag words or tags. So, okay, yeah, I'll turn him off now. Okay, so anyways, where were we here? Let me just find out if anybody's here. I guess I click it, and I click it again, and I'm there. I guess I click it, and I click it again. There. Okay, so hi. Welcome. Yeah, you know, the music can always be trimmed off later, but I'm not too worried about it. People complain that I'm not scripting my videos and giving them a higher level of production, but I have to be honest, I don't have time to be doing all this editing, and I want to get the information out there. If you know anything about this area, Plato, I mean, look, Michael Hubner did a paper, not that, talk about that later. I wanted to talk about that too. Michael Hubner, here, I should have put that there. Michael Hubner did a paper using all the variables Plato wrote about and taking those variables and applying probabilities to them. And what did he come up with? He came up with this place here called the Sumasa is the most likely location. Now, by the way, if you want to know where I got this screenshot, I watched Jimmy was complaining about a documentary that has been out for a couple years. What he didn't mention was that Josh Sigerson, who went to the richat, was in the part right before. So there's a lot of things that aren't being presented equally. And I do have to say I did watch that, and I saw the lady, her name, forgot it already, who Jimmy was complaining about. But I like to go with papers, and I like to, people say, oh, can you give a citation for your video? Yeah, I can. I'm doing it right now. Michael Hubner, the late Michael Hubner, did a paper that targeted this Sumasa in Morocco as the location of Atlantis using scientific probabilities of each variable that he could come up with. For example, there were elephants. Okay, are you going to have elephants in the Azores, or are you going to have elephants in Africa? Are you going to have elephants in the Americas, or are you going to have elephants in Africa? That's just one. But as far as proximity, he targets this area. And yeah, in the video that I got this screenshot from that video. So it comes from the same documentary that Jimmy was complaining about. Let's see if we have any people. I think I'm being shadow banned because I've been doing all this sharing and marketing, and I got 0 chats. That's okay. And I got zero chats. That's okay. That's okay. Okay, just checking because I can barely believe I'm online. Okay, so let's go there and let's talk about it a little bit. I before we do, I want to make a quick correction, kind of, because this was in my last video. It's the Chega Fort located in northern Mauritania. Now, I don't know if there's anything else up here, but it's pretty high up there. There's a couple of other cities, one over here. I'd like to check that out. Is that a city? Is that just the name of a landmark? But if you go back in, you can see the Chega Fort, and I was implying that these things were similar to the castle's teeth. It really looks like it to me when I see the way this is shaped. And maybe if we look at the timeline, go back, we might see something. I doubt it's going to be clearer. But I went into Satellites Pro. I found this. That's as close as I can get. And Satellites Pro kind of shows a different story here. So, I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I was wrong, because this could be more modern or something, but it does look to me it's very similar. It doesn't look. It looks like something's changed. You see this thing going here, and it looks like there's these little teeth that you see in the Fortress 1 castle, Jimmy's castle. And the lady in the documentary started talking about it, and she didn't give Jimmy any credit at all. And apparently they stole his pictures, but that I thought it looked like it just came from Google Earth. So I don't know about thieving of any pictures. I'd have to check. How many? Okay, at least I have one other thumbs up. Somebody's out there listening to me. So there you go. That's the fort, and you can see modern day changes. I don't even know how they got that. And then how does that become that? I really can't, unless something's changed. Like right here, there's a big old opening with a thing in the middle to go in there. But here, it's not open. Do you notice that? So something's changed. I think that maybe they created some berms. Lots of stuff it was going on here, And by the way, I did want to also mention, if you follow this road, okay, I forgot I was going to make another point about this. When I came up here the other day, you could see the quarried megabreccia happening here as well. Now, it's very obvious that it's not a natural thing. Look at that, parallel lines. I was wondering if there was a machine they had that would just cut these straight lines, or whether they're using stone tools. I'm just joking. I don't really believe that they hammered on this to create what we're looking at. I mean, this is miles and miles north of the richat structure, and when you go in and out, you can see that there's a lot of work up here too. Not just that, when you follow these lines across the border, you can see the road going through. Now, look at how it changes. Look at all that work. There's work everywhere, right? And it's not just so-called richat Atlantis or African Atlantis. In my opinion, this was part of it. We're talking about the Atlas Mountains, right? And yeah, it's over here. Let's just reorient. It's over here, but when you come across this way, you can see ancient roads. And I lost it. I had it here. Let's see if we can find it again. This was the way I was going. You can't turn this, so it always stays north. You can see these megabreccia outcrops. Yeah, this guy. It's very easy to get rid of this guy. Sorry. Distraction. I got people trolling me. Oh, and I came up with a new conclusion, not that, but over in some other areas where it looked like a reptilian pattern, but no megabreccia. I think maybe they just grabbed it all. Look at that line right there. So I think I'm on the road again. I lost the road. Following these megabreccia outcrops out into Algeria, you can start to see. Let me just back out. There's a road here. The road goes this way. When you cross the border, though, there you go. This is the line I'm talking about. You've got the ancient lines. Now, that's a modern-day berm, But you've got this ancient line coming across here. Okay, where is it? I want to make sure to find the line that I saw, because I followed it a long ways into this next country, and now I'm not finding it. I don't want to waste too much time if I can't find it. But it went on for miles and miles. These roads, they seem to disappear. Okay, so where was that? Lost it. I think it was right over here, but there's a lot of stuff going on. Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on here. See this? This is not modern day road. That's a forget that. That's an artifact. That's a berm that I believe was built to separate the countries. They have the berm going here about 2.5 miles from this line, and then the Mauritanian, they have their own berm. If you get in there, actually it's not showing on here, but it shows on the other Google Earth. Okay, that's part one. Definitely followed a line, and you know, where is it? Because I really had a good line, and is that it right there? There's a couple places where I think I could pick it back up again. Was that it? It was going through stones. It was going for miles and miles, and now I can't find it anymore. So I'll have to pick that up later because I don't want to waste a lot of time. Yeah, where did that go? I don't think it went through this. So I think maybe it started down here and it was going more this direction. Maybe, no, that's not it. So it was going in pretty deep. Let's see that. What's that it? No, see, every time I do it, they give us this province and these roads. And actually that's good because I like to know where the roads are. How many gallons of gas do you need to go across this land? Find more of this stuff going on. And the question is, and that's why I opened up this, but then I got away from it. So I'm just not seeing what I was looking for before. There's definitely some stuff going on. And the mega breccia outcrops were going into Algeria and being mined the whole way. This mining was going on. I don't know about mining, but quarrying. Quarrying, and for what use is a really good question. Where did all those stones go? All right, I'll probably finish with this. Wait, are we there? Is that it? This thing? I mean, it was like a double wide. It was like a double wide road, and I just lost it. Is it this thing? Anyways, I'll try to show that next time. Thank you for that third thumbs up. It's making me go on. Gotta find it. There's that airport. Okay, so that's the airport. Gara? I don't know Gara. Alright, so we're getting away from that, and we're going to go back. That's Algeria, and that's Mali. So we're talking about the border between Mauritania and Algeria. There's this road that goes like right into that desert area. Like right there. Of course, I'll never find it live. Totally lost it, but it was like... See, that road right there goes right to the fort. So this is an ancient road for sure. Maybe that was it. Maybe that was it. But I just don't see the line. Let's see if we can find that line one more time. Last chance. Last chance. And after that, I'll show you this other thing. Look at these. So you find these outcrops. And there's some lines right there. I don't know if those are roads. I think I found that earlier. I found that cross. So maybe I'm close to it. Is this it? Maybe what I did was... No, that's not it. Maybe I did it on Google. Where these lines here, those are very suspect to me, and they are very similar to the kind of the mountain. Look at this one. Is that it? That could be it. I don't know. Yeah, that's it. I found it. Let's go back to the beginning. Okay, that's it. Let's go back to the beginning. We're still... Where are we? Okay, no, we're not in... Okay, so I found that line right here by going back to Okay, I don't want to lose it again, so let's stick with it right here, and let's follow this line. Now, this line is pretty small. And where is it? I lost it again. Okay, there we go. That's it. No, I lost it again. Where is it? See, I'm using Satellites Pro. Okay, so this is where I think it is, right there. I think that's part of it, but it turns into a double line, and it goes on. Can I find it? Is this it? I got lost again. Sorry about that. See, there's an ancient line going straight up and down here, but that's not what I wanted to show you. Maybe this road follows it. No. Okay, I think that's pretty much it right there. And I'm gonna get in there and try my best, but you can see roads. You can see people who have driven across this, and this thing goes on and suddenly turns into something, if I'm not mistaken here. And you got this groove, so you've got a double wall or maybe a canal, but it kind of moves across, and you got these ancient lines here. A drink somewhere around here. I'm gonna get my drink, and you can follow that way. Now you can kind of see too, which way should we go. I wanted to stick with the one that went way out, but I'm not even sure. There we go. So now we're starting to see the line that maybe I got confused about, going through these sand dunes and mountains right here, and it stops looking like anything real until you get over here. And if I'm not mistaken, and that's it, it goes on for a long... See, I think that's not it. That's not it. There was another one I found. It just went on and on and on. So, again, I'm not going to try to spend more time doing this because I didn't want it to be too long of a video. I'm just trying to get some things out there. But look what I found here. If you don't know about this, some of you think that's a dragon. Some of you have told me about it, including the father came to me once and told me about it. Now, I want to take a look at this topography. If this is a dragon, I think that's the part that would be... I'm just, I'm having some fun because I'm not 100% aligned with this. But we're looking at the... By the way, where are we now? It's Sumasa. We're where the... Where's that picture? We are currently where... It said, and I can show you right here, right, that little edge right there is that little edge right there, that this is where Atlantis is most probably here. Now, I'm not against this idea because I always have believed that if the concentric circles down here in the eye of Atlantis had anything to do with Plato's writings, that this whole area is part of it. And what he wrote was it goes as far east as Egypt, and right here is the other place he said, which is this whole Tyrrhenian Sea. Tyrrhenia is here. So that would mean that Atlantis had already captured everything up to about here, and had already captured everything up to about here. Big cities. That's it. Now, going back to this, now I didn't find his original video, but this is January of this year. A geologist confirmed dragon chemistry in Morocco. I just want you to know about this. I'm not aligned with it. When Mudfossil University talked to me and chatted with me and told me about this theory, I didn't say anything. In fact, I just kind of ignored it because I didn't want to align with it then. But so many of my viewers have given me this information. I just want to let you know I've seen it. So let's listen to him for a bit. Where's the sound?
Standing friends, you know if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know who this guy is. And attacking this guy right here is a fish. And that is a dragon. It's just gigantic. Now, one of the top geologists in the whole world. He's a PhD, works for some of the top companies. Just a fabulous guy, outstanding, good friend. We've been going back and forth 30 something emails about this now. He says, I have now geo-referenced the geological map of the area over the Google map image.
Okay, I probably shouldn't be playing this too much because I'm going to get some type of a tag, but I can give you the name. And geologist confirms dragon chemistry in Morocco. That's Mudfossil University channel. And I don't know. I guess the friend is unnamed. This is a Gmail, so I'm not going to get too deep into this video, but you can check it out for yourself. But let's take a look at it. I mean, let's look first at what he's talking about. If you say the fish, well, I think it looks like a duck's head. And of course, I have always thought that this thing looked like a fish. I think he probably clicked it in my head, and that looks like the eye of a fish, and that looks like the beak or a mouth of some type of a cuttlefish to me. And that's right there by the eye of the Sahara. Now, I've always been mystified by this land here because of the way it's colored and how flat it is, and I've looked at it topographically. It's pretty flat. You can see it right here. It doesn't have a lot of variation and change. It's at about 1,500 feet. Not a lot of orange. If you're looking at the numbers here on the right, you can see 1893 is when the orange starts. You can kind of see that's 1893 up there. But, you know, it's really mysterious to me that echoes. Oh, I have echoes? Oh, that was the video. Yeah, because I should have muted my microphone. So it doesn't matter. I want it to echo because I don't want to get a copyright strike. That'll help me avoid that. I'm sorry about that, though. Yeah, I had a speaker problem. I'm using another speaker today. And that's why, I don't know. It's Bluetooth speaker right now. And I always have technology failure, like every single time there's some type of a technology failure. I've got all the forces working against me, and I want to say something right now. I want to get all this information out there because I don't know how much longer I'll be walking on this planet. I personally have resigned to accept the chances that someone's out to get me, and then I'll be gone. Let them try to find me, and I'm sure they could if they're real. So anyways, back to this. This always looks like a duck head. That's the eye of the duck right there. That eye of the duck is just a bunch of little tiny mountains. But you know, sometimes one wonders. See, when you look at the topography, it just doesn't add up. By the way, he said it's a fish. I'm not resigned to thinking this is a dragon, but you can kind of see in the eye of a dragon there, or the beak of a dragon here. I'm not sure what he thinks is the beak. I remember when he said it the first time I saw the video, I thought that he was talking about dried blood. But I think that if you look at this, you can see the topography does have a serpentine effect. Look at that line right that meets this. Is that a line? See, I sometimes see the things for the first time. Is there still an echo? No. I don't suspect there is. You can see there's a dried riverbed right there. I actually like to go look that one up because that's, again, I want to say that the Michael Hubner research puts it right here, and that is a mountain ridge. So there's a river coming right out of there, right? That's the river where Michael Hubner places Atlantis. And there was supposed to be, okay, so there was never any concentric circles found here. He was reverse engineering the process. Look at that line right there. That line to me looks fake. And by the way, there's a lot of fake looking mountains in here. I call them walls because they're not even really mountains. But if you get in there, you can see a lot of this stuff really doesn't look like a real mountain at all. They look like, I said it earlier, hairpin mountains. And this whole thing about going back and forth, you know, I see this ancient stuff. I don't want to get back into other stuff, but I have a lot of pictures of ancient lines stopping and then coming back at about a 30-degree angle. So, you know, I wish that there was some way I could look at this. This stuff is very unique to me, very remarkable to me. and I just don't see how it was naturally formed, especially the ones that I showed before. But you can follow this stuff up. This is Michael Hubner's Atlantis. That's what we should just call it, the Su-Masa Plain. That's Michael Hubner's Atlantis, and this is the head of the Mudfossils dragon. Let's see what else we can check before I get out of here. There was one more thing. Let me go through here. So this one, I don't know. We can use this to check it out as well. This is the Su-Masa. There's those things I was showing you. There's the beak right there. So I also want to say there's also a very, very interesting... there's the dotted line that separates Western Sahara. There's something right here I really want to go and visit. And it happens to be right where these weird mountains start. So maybe if I were able to arrange it, I could go to Morocco at the same time I go back. And I'm very interested in doing that. Got to double check. The thing I'd love to go see, I guess, is right about... I'm not seeing it. Right there. It's right there. And so go down this RN1. Although I did follow the road and I didn't see how I was going to get past this river here. So I guess I got to go down here, RN1 right there. This is Satellites Pro. It's actually really cool. And look at that weird straight line you're seeing. That's very straight, but now it disappears. So, there's a lot of things about these mapping software. Look at that straight line right there. Where did that line come from and where does it disappearing to? It's just so weird the way this mapping software works. I think that's supposed to be some topography filter. I'm going to follow this line all the way over here. Look at that. You see this line. What is it? Now, I don't know what we're looking at. Let's go to 1010 and find out. That's weird. And of course, it disappears, right? I've had that happen a lot, so I don't know what's going on there with that line. It is quite a long line. It goes all the way across there. It might be an artifact. I don't really agree that everything you see is an artifact, though. But that certainly does disappear when you get in closer. Okay, well, anyways, that's pretty much it. I'm not going to play the rest of this. Let's see what else he shows. It was just kind of interesting. Is that the second picture? Tindouf Basin. Very important place. Anyways, this guy's been giving him info that it's chemically proven that's a dragon. Whatever. He must be from Morocco, right? I don't know what we're looking at here. This is very strange because we're seeing some stuff here that also... It's just weird. You see these lines. That's cool. What is that? Whoops. That looks real. That's not disappearing. So you see that line. It kind of turns purple. But when you come out here... all this stuff just disappears. Alright, well, I'm going to have to call it an artifact of the platform. Not my fault. Anyways, I'm just killing a little time. I'm at a half hour now. 7 people are down watching. That's very cool. Time to ask some questions. I got 4 thumbs up. I got 7 people watching, but only 4 thumbs up. That means there's 3 trolls out there. You're trolling me, I can tell. This is very interesting, all these straight lines. Not sure. I think it's some type of a platform artifact. I don't use satellites.pro much because of the fact that... Let's see if we can find that thing right here. Nah. It's kind of weird. You can see what I'm looking for right over here. There's something along this riverbank that is very easy to find, and that's kind of scary too because it's these weird berms. There it is, right there. That thing's kind of scary. And then right next to it is the thing I want to visit, which is right there, which I think I've shown many times and talked about many times. You can find it in the thumbnails. You can see the conversations I've had about it. You can see a second one there that has been washed away, and this one's going to get washed away next. Probably that flood event happened, I would say, I don't know. There's so many things that have happened since this escarpment, which is these two alluvial fans. This whole floodplain was created with this escarpment. But there's also these two alluvial fans. So those things take thousands of years, in my understanding, depending on the flood event. If you have a 1,000-year flood event, then it could occur. But this happens over time. This thing is a flood event. And then it got covered. Well, you never know, because we're getting changes in the photography. Different sediments. That's just too straight of a line for me to think that that's not okay. Well, I don't know. That's kind of weird. So I have to study that a little more. But it looks like an artifact photograph too. I didn't see that in the Google Maps. So Google Earth. Google Earth. Alrighty, I'm almost out of here. It's been 30 minutes. I just wanted to talk a little bit about these two new things. Ever since I discovered that there was, by the fort here, this fort, there was more of these outcrops that were being quarried, and there you can see them here and here, all over this area. Here, look at that. And now I know. Now I know better. Hundreds and thousands of years ago, these lines and these cuts and this quarrying happened. Sometimes the whole field is cleared. Somebody wanted these rocks for something. Hundreds and thousands of years ago. Hi, Trey. Well, you encouraged me to talk for another 5 minutes. If you knew me years ago, it said long time watcher. Okay, maybe not years ago. I'm talking, I never thought this was unnatural. I thought this was, and by the way, I'm not at the richat structure right now, but I'm at some similar rocks. And I always thought that they were natural. I looked at this and I thought this was what you could call, I'm always forgetting the correct terminology. The erosion that occurs on rocks causes kind of a beautiful effect. I see this. I consider that natural. I'm not going to say that it wasn't dumped on top of these rocks. For some reason, the way this formation is very common, where it seems to cover the rocks that are being mined away. And you see this line right here. It seems to go underneath that. So I kind of wonder if this earth has actually gone on top of the lines, because I've seen that a lot, where the earth or maybe the mud has moved on top of a straight line that goes underneath it, like this one. And here's the second one right there, and it's hitting the mountain, and then they go over here and start anew. So that's the two situations. Let's say the giants or the people who did this are actually making these lines. And they are. These lines are being... This is an area that's either been mined already or quarried already, or they were trying to prep it. It looks like it's gone, right? I don't know. Maybe the rock value wasn't as high, or they didn't get what they wanted. But you can see these lines going through here. Megalithic terraforming. Well, I can tell you that I used to think these were fractals, but now I don't. I look at them and they're not fractals, and I don't think that those straight lines are going to be natural at all. And you can follow this into Algeria. Some of them are quite ornate, like this one here, and it gets a little crazy. This is a city. I can't do any 3D, and I can't do any changes to the orientation of the compass, which is different from Google Earth, right? Let's go back out a little bit. Let's look at Google Earth. So all these roads are going to the fort. If you go to the top of Mauritania and zoom in enough, the roads appear. Now these roads stop here, stop here, stop here, but I do see ancient roads continuing. And look, that same road that stopped here seems to pick up right there and go on and on and on. So I don't believe that's the road I was talking about earlier, though. But you can see lots of stuff going on out here. And I mean, when I go in and I see this, I say, okay, that looks natural. That looks like it's natural erosion. But when you see straight lines going across, that's not natural erosion anymore. That's manipulated and changed by intelligence. I don't want to go there. I want to go here. Let's go again with this map with Google Earth. Chega is the name of the fort, and this whole area has been, as Randall Carlson stated. Look, we're at the same place. See, we're at the same place. This one I can go across and show you. So this Earth that's on top, maybe they stopped. Like I believe that somebody drilled a line and either went through it or they stopped here and went to the. This doesn't line up with here, so maybe they stopped and they said we only want this rock. I mean, who knows the mentality of why they were doing this? Let me find a good one. It seemed like these things. Yeah, now see what we're looking at here. I could imagine that's natural if I wasn't looking at anything else. I've said this a million times, but when you get to fields such as this, okay, I've got some good ones. I found. Okay, let me. Should I open my? I don't think I want to do that. Let me go to another Google Earth, and I want to show you something somebody showed me today that I hadn't looked at in a long time. Where's the Eye of Africa? There we are. And I was stopping here. Now, these lines, I believe it's not. Those lines go straight from here all the way over here. So we're talking about straight lines that reach, and some of them don't. I haven't found one single line, but 5 miles. And these straight parallel lines are going across from over here all the way through here. But I hadn't looked at this other part, and somebody was showing it to me today, and I have to thank that person. That person is, I think I saw it on Reddit, Meet 5000 on Reddit. But I was looking at what they were giving me to look at, and I was like, wow, this is just nuts. It's not even on, it was even on top of the plateaus, just all this work that had been done. All these straight lines, that's, according to Randall Carlson, done for hundreds and thousands of years. So starting hundreds and thousands of years. Do I think a possible city with all these quarried rocks is buried under the sand? No, I do not. I went there. If you're not familiar with me, I went to the richat structure and drove across the richat structure. And one of the things that I concluded is this is quite natural and that there's nothing underneath here. Okay, now, of course, this sand was added over time. It blew inside of the richat structure and created rock. I drove from here, Wadane, across the sand dune, entered about here and drove to the center. And then I went over here. I couldn't get through, so we had to come this way. And suddenly we found ourselves on the same road. And I went through here to the center buildings and then cut. Let me just move it forward. It's not okay. This ancient foundation was my goal, right? I wanted to go here, so I took those pictures. And you go to the center, which is about here, and drive for about a mile, I guess. I can't remember, and I can't see the center anyways because that's the top of a mountain. But there it is, right there. And then you kind of go around this mountain and then go straight here. It's about 2 miles. That circular structure west of the richat is very mysterious to me. And I actually drove right by it on this road right here. But it was nighttime. I didn't have good GPS at the time. And then on the way back, I wasn't even thinking about it. I was pretty much sleeping. I mean, I have a lot to say about that. The most logical conclusion is a crater to me. However, it could be more. It could be the remnants, because I do believe this straight line right here is very mysterious. You got two water rivers, or I mean, I don't want to call it a river. This is a very beautiful river now. It goes totally natural in my opinion. But I do believe that maybe it was part of some type of an ancient. I mean, that straight line seems like it's going across here to nowhere. But all I can say is that, and then we can talk about this as well, especially right here. This is so straight. I mean, that just looks like it was created. If you want to know where I also went that had similar structures, it was over here to these parallel canals. And I probably talked about this a lot. I walked here And when I did, I felt like it had been unnaturally created. It's just a little bit too straight and a little bit too long, and it's in hard bedrock. It's, if you see natural, you see stuff, and don't let me get started about here, and here. I found a lot of new stuff in the other videos, but when you come to this point, it's a little too straight and too perfect, and this is bedrock. This is not, when you talk about natural, you can talk about this, okay? This is also bedrock, so part of me thinks that this is an old canal as well, but it was kind of used. Maybe it was natural, but they used it. And you can see that there's something going right through there. I mean, if you have a water, why would something cut through here and then go straight instead of going that way? So I've got a lot of questions about this too. And you kind of feel like maybe there was a really old canal. I mean, come on, let's take a look at reality. This is reality right here. That's really a canal that goes straight for 20 kilometers, and this is reality right here. And you can see how it gets covered up. When it gets covered up, you're like, oh, it's not that's natural. Well, it got covered, but, and don't think that these, and by the way, these lines are not natural in my mind either. I've been looking at this. You can see the straight lines that are carved into the rock here. These straight lines are also part of the question. And see, when you talk about a mechanical erosion, I've never seen mechanical erosion in a parallel fashion before. Oh, it also goes to the other side. There's this line here. Is it covered with debris? Does that this one we can do it. Let's do it. Let's put it this way. Because these lines are just too parallel for me to accept natural. And look how parallel that is. And here's one that kind of maybe goes through. I don't know. That's, to me, not really. Let's see. No, you know where it goes through is right to here. So if we zoom out a little bit and get this line, it's just, I think that goes through. Does it go through? Is the top of this mountain new? You can see those lines go all the way that direction. I'm seeing maybe a line here. You see? So these lines are parallel, and they're going across, and they're going between my parallel canals. So parallel between parallel. Let's talk about how parallel those canals are. If I go to the top of the page and I put that line right there, it's not a perfect straight line, but you can see that it went right out there. That's it. Now what happened here? Well, they probably just used a natural thing. That's cut. That's going right through there. I don't know, was it just for water or was it for boats? Because personally, I think it's flood control. I don't know why they'd need all these canals. They're not that far apart. But that line goes all the way to my canal that I walked down. So what happened here? Well, it looks like it hit some rock and there was a natural place it could go. I mean, why did it stop there? And why is there a parallel crevice right next to it? I mean, there's so many questions out here, but nobody's talking about it. I was thinking that was another canal. I've looked at that. I'm pretty good with this. I don't know if I have to go back and visit it again because it's just too big. When you go across there, where's the one let me just zoom back in. I haven't been down here, and part of me wants to, but you can look at it. You can see the edge. And how high is that edge? It's about 15 feet. In fact, in some cases, even 20 feet deep. And I hit the rock with other rocks. It's very sound. It has a sound. It's not, you can watch my video if you want to see that. You have to go back through. Up where I walk through, I haven't been down here, but I've been thinking, wow, if I come down here, will I find any megalithic evidence, or am I just going to see missing rock? The only thing I can prove about, look at that part. So the flat part there, it's similar to some flat parts over where I was, and I think there may be a bottom. So if there was any excavation, it would be to remove the sand and look at the bottom of a part of this. Maybe a rectangle could be removed. Get a vacuum and suck all that sand out of there. Here, it just looks open too much, and there's a lot of rocks in the middle. So, was there a cataclysmic event that made this look like it looks today? Thanks again, Trey, for your comments. And this all started with your question, didn't it? There are canals. Let's go back to that one next to the structure you're talking about. Once I get this thing oriented so I can find where I'm at. Alright, so we're talking about this thing right here. And let's take a look at this thing next to it. Can I also go along the shore? There's a lot of sand on top of this one. That one, it's not as... I mean, what I would do is I would see if there's a consistency in the edges. Josh's video that got him banned from YouTube, I know that he was banned from YouTube, but I don't know if it was anything to do with this. It was regarding politics, I thought. Yeah, I know he went there. I've talked to him. I've chatted with Jimmy with email. And all I can say is, look at that. That's like clearly like they have a combination of, like, they didn't need to cut such a beautiful canal. So they went through this little river area and then it matched up here and then it kind of dries up, right? This is definitely, people are here because there's water here. So that's why people live there. And it looks like it may have opened back up here. See? So I have a lot to say about this whole area. This is getting from one side of the canal, the Adrar Plateau to the other. And they've got these beautiful curves. Why is that curvy so curvy? It doesn't make sense. Here, it looks like it's a parallel cut. One there, one there. And it looks exactly like the quarrying curves here too. But over here, this curve is more reminiscent... Oops, let me get north. Is more reminiscent of this curve over here. Yeah, that's a good point. There had to be a huge population, and if you correlate it with what Plato wrote, Herodotus also put Atlantis in this place, as Jimmy pointed out. That was the exciting thing for me. The Herodotus, don't call them maps, but the texts, the Herodotus texts, putting Atlantis in North Africa. And, I have to get a timeline going so I understand who spoke first. But I'm pretty sure Plato spoke first, and therefore maybe Herodotus was affected and influenced by what Plato wrote. So I try to keep it on the norm. Also, if I can get here, I'd love to. I didn't put this tag here, but a lot of people talk about this. I would like to go visit that. It is kind of hostile territory out there. I might never make it back, and that's what I'm saying. My life is finite. I think about what this planet will be like after I'm gone all the time, and I can tell you it won't matter. It won't matter, because understanding history sometimes doesn't matter either. This line right here, I just put this line right there. I had a picture that did I use it for the in the beginning of the video? I think it was sitting there. I think I got away from it. Yeah, it was just a Google Earth aspect. Okay, well, now I've been talking a lot longer than I expected. And it's been 48 minutes. Definitely finishing up. Thank you, Trey. Herodotus was first. Do you have a year for that? Because if that's true, then it's crazy. If that's true. I got to definitely find that out. What year was Herodotus died? Haha. Okay, there we go. 425 BC. What year did Plato die? Yeah. So there you go. I mean, the other thing though, because the negative 347 BC, not negative 425 BC. Okay, so he was all right. He joined a group of Athenians. And this one here, he's also an Athenian philosopher. So they're in the same neighborhood, right? And so this is the other thing, that Plato could have been influenced by what he read from Herodotus. However, it seems like he's got the solon source. The kind of I kind of wonder why Plato didn't mention Herodotus's maps or anything about him. I got to study that more. Yeah, I knew that one too, and I think Jimmy told us that, didn't he? I always want to give Jimmy credit for what he told us first. He talked about the Herodotus thing to me first. I didn't know about it. And then there was the castle. And then I had to go there, right? Now, as far as the other histories, there's some that he mentioned that not a lot of people talk about, like you just said. And think about what Delia said earlier. Atlas is what we use for maps. Atlas holds up the world, also used for maps. So there's got to be some ancient understanding, modern day ancient understanding that's going on here. When the English language was created, when people started using words like sun and air, and also other things related to the history, it's just a little bit too coincidental that we're talking about Atlas, the guy who holds up the earth, and the mountains here, and it just and then Mauritania, it's the first king from Mauritania as well. And I have a friend, I missed his call just the other day. I don't know if he'll call me back. I'm going to try to get a hold of him. We're going to do some stuff in Knockshot, and some of it's going to be English related. I taught a class there for him. He's got a school. We're looking for people who are interested in donating some equipment for that school. And I don't know if it's something that I can take with me if I get it. Is that the airport? That's the old airport right there. That's not the new airport. The new airport's way out of town, way north. I think the new airport's right there. What's this? Interesting. This Satellites Pro is pretty cool. I can say that much. But with that being said, let's see. Where's my chats? What's happening? Chats. Oh, there you are. Gotcha. Yep. Hey, Cecilia. Thank you for that. Thank you. New viewer, get another 5 minutes if you have a question. I gotta go, but I could take a couple more questions. If you're just arriving, we were talking about a lot of stuff, including Michael Hubner's paper that put the Atlantis had this. I think that he's referring to the concentric circles right there in Sumasa. But if you aren't aware, Sumasa actually is right next to Mauritania. There's Sumasa Plains right there, and there's Mauritania right there. So I got this from the documentary that Jimmy was complaining about. Berbers are considered to have always been in Africa, even though they look European. Okay, I don't know. Show me a picture of a Berber. Guanches people who made pyramids on the Canary Islands. What's your source for that? Where's my paper? I did a little bit of history and Berbers. Okay, so what about the Ibero-Maurasian? That's my question. If you go to the history of the world from year to year, and you do it on YouTube, you can see this source that he. Okay, what are we talking about? Let's just put this in here. History of the world every year is Ali Bai. Yep, squatter man on the flag. Yeah. So look, you are. I did some of this research. Where did I put that paper? Right here. So this paper, it's not a paper, it's a PowerPoint slide presentation. It has some early stuff about this, and I do go over it. Where's that history? And another thing you should do is look up this. Let me just enlarge this so you can see this isostatic myth. It's all here. So my friend Lembrada, he's in Nouakchott. He's the one I'm talking about with the English program. But we've got these this thing here, Birkin v Galoup Richat. Okay, it's maybe I should go a little smaller. There we go. And this thing, he wrote that for me because it's a modern day legend. It's a local legend. The Taman Reset mega river dried up because of a 12,000-year-old isostatic rebound event. It also seems to correlate with the year region, kind of. We need a few more. We need 13,000 years. But look that up. If you speak Arabic, if you can give me more information. Lembrada didn't have a lot of info, but I didn't have a lot of time to meet with him on that. As far as the history goes, according to mainstream history, I'll show you that right now. Where is it? And by the way, I just want to say this. You were talking about this stuff right here. There's a book out, and he wrote about how this Amazigh civilization were also survivors of Atlantis. And I had some more, but before I do that, I just want to say I kind of don't believe it's dome geology. I think that it's actually some type of electronic event using radial discharge from another mass like Planet X or something. So you might not want to be friends with me after realizing that, but ancient dragons, I mean, they're very similar to Lynchburg patterns. That's a real Lynchburg pattern in wood. Here's a real Lynchburg pattern on someone's back. And these Lynchburg patterns are very similar to some of the patterns you see. But yeah, the squatting man, that's not it. The squatting man has been around for a while, and some people think that that was also an electronic event. So perhaps the squatting man is the event that created the richat structure. I think I kind of put that nicely. I mean, we've got this thing. Poseidon created it with this device here. And that's a lot more recent. Okay, I got to find that history thing I wanted to show you. Because we were talking about the Ibero-Maurasians. Where? I'm still searching. I got like 300 slides here. I probably need to divide this up into smaller chunks. But it's nice to have it in one spot. So if you go to the History of the World every year, Ali Bai did a pretty good job. Yeah, I have somebody who's trying to teach me this language. Trying to get me to help him publish a book that teaches this one of the languages. Maybe not the one that you're talking about, this gosh. And I gotta get a drink in a second. Been an hour. That's okay. So let's do this first, and then I'll get a drink, and I'll see if there's any questions, and I'll get out of here. Ali Bai, who probably has a lot more than 200,000 subscribers now, 200,000 years ago, shows the beginning of his video. You can see the ancient shorelines. You don't have a lot of data here, but I can tell you with Google Earth, your data is here. Okay? You can see it right here. Let's just take a quick look at the ancient shorelines. They're right here. These are the ancient shorelines right there. So you know where we should be looking. And Graham Hancock says that. We need to be looking in this, what he used it, the terminology? I always forget the terms. But this is the ancient shoreline before the ocean levels increased 400 feet. Okay, so that is the ancient shoreline. Let's not forget that. However, we're right now going with what Ali Bai says. He doesn't show that here, but he shows it here, and he shows it as over here by Greece, and up here Doggerland. All right, that's 200,000 years ago, so we're just going to kind of take a look at the changes now. 68,000 years ago, there was this Sangoan civilization right smack dab in the middle, and now I question that. I do believe that the ancient roads and ridges and canals that I've found around here, oh, look at that. They show a piece of land down there that got flooded. So we had some, I got to go look at that. Okay, so anyways, back to this. 68,000. This civilization popped up. You know, clay pots, whatever, and then 21,000 years later, it disappears. So we're talking about a 40,000-year-old civilization just disappeared. Just disappeared 18,000 years BC. So we're talking about 20,000 years ago. It disappeared. So just 22,000 years ago, there was still some way to connect it, and then it's gone. And then what happens? Well, 10,000 years. Now you do have this happening as well. You have the Ibero-Mauritian. You can't even read that word, but I looked it up. It's Ibero-Mauritian. You can kind of see it pop up. See, that's the weird thing. It's so small that you had to look at his notes to see what it said. And it shows them, the Ibero-Mauritians, being here 10,000 years ago. Okay, so literally just 2,000 years after the cataclysm. And at the same time Clovis was around. Yeah, I see your comment about the drone. I don't know how to do that. That'll be a project somebody else has to do. They've got these little scooters that you can rent if you're a diver. You can rent these scooters, right? But a drone, I mean, maybe with solar and a little base it can go back to. A lot of technology now. We could leapfrog technology to create that. So this is some stuff that I've been looking up. Ibero-Mauritians were there before the Berbers. So from 10,000 to 9,000. Where's my other picture? And then at 6,000, the Berbers show up. So North Africa enters the Neolithic at the same time. Don't know what that even means, really. 6,000, Capsian culture and Ibero-Mauritian culture supplanted by the Berbers, 6,000 BC. So supplanted means replaced. So, yeah, we also saw this thing here, Afro-Asiatic Neolithic. And you have that right here, the North Afro-Asiatic heartland, and how they're the homeland and the heartland, and how they're supposed to have divided up. This is 6,000 years ago as well, I think. North Africa enters Neolithic. I don't really know exactly what that means. Okay, so there you go. So the Berbers were there until 4400. Then the Berbers, wait, they're going to disappear? Okay, so what's happening here is the Afro-Asiatic Neolithic, that's where they, yeah, same thing here. They grow 4,400, 100 years later, they're up here, and then they up here, and then they're gone. Okay, they're gone. They just disappeared. Nobody's there anymore. That's according to mainstream history, right? Don't know why Ali Bai did that. The Berbers are still there. 3280, and now some changes have happened here. Rome messed things up. Garamontes, where's that one that you mentioned? The one you mentioned is Trey, the Gaunches people. Gaunches, I can just show you. I'm looking at it right there. That's your chat. The Gaunches people. I think I'm pretty sure that that's in a couple of other ones. So we'll wait. Garamontes, then 30 BC Garamontes, and then where's the one with all the maps? Is the Gaunches people here? Gaunches, where's Gaunches? Here, it's the blue. Gaunches Canarians. Okay, so the blue is not that. It must be over here. Canary Islands are right there. So yeah, the Berber. These are the Berber people. So all these people came from the Berber, according to mainstream history. Except Mustafa, who contacted me, told me he wrote this book about how his people are from the Amazigh, and he gave me a lot of information that the letter. Okay, so this is one of the letters of their alphabet as well. You call the Squatting Man. Squatting Man's a little different, right? It has a dot here and a dot here. But things get simplified, right? This Amazigh flag has that same thing. So they didn't want to go sailing. So they were on the Canary Islands is what you're telling me. Now, he gave me this information. I want to share it, but I'm not going to really, like, tout it. I believe that the one with the line, the Z, is a little more similar. Tifinagh alphabet. So the Berber language holds this symbol inside it. Zanaga Berbers, Isnagan, what? That's the language distribution right there. Okay, that's it. I didn't really have a lot of other things. I don't want to talk about who I am. I was fatter then. I think I'm almost getting as fat now. Anyways, this is available as well if you want to see it, but I did want to show you. That's like, I have like 400 slides in here. So this is 497. 497. So I do have a lot to say. Going back, though, in October, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. You know, honestly, I think I can get enough. Now, if I were to change this, I would take that out of there. That is nothing to me. This means nothing. This means nothing. If I were going to create this, and I think it's kind of funny, and somewhere around there I got this where I can fix it, but I would talk about the parallel canals. I'd talk about a lot more interesting stuff than this. This is boring to me now. But Jimmy, he's going to cry about some documentary done 2 years ago that didn't give him credit, when in fact, I don't know if it's really that important. That's why I did the video that I just finished. When I went to the castle, where's that video here? Because my data is everywhere, so I made this video. This is Jimmy's castle, a pile of rocks. I don't believe it has any importance there, so let's get past these structures and actually look at the history. Like, I'd like to do more research about what Herodotus wrote. I can't believe that it's older than Plato. Well, I mean, he said it's Jimmy's castle because we've been calling that for 5 years now, right? 2018. I got really excited about it. And don't forget, he also offered cash. He said he'd pay a few $100s to anybody who could provide photos of it. So here I am providing photos of it. But if you really haven't seen what Atlantis Together did, where's that other... There? What did I do? Is that okay, that's a photograph. See, I want to know about this ridge. It's not very straight now, but it looks straight from the air. Maybe it's because the land is contoured. See, isn't that crazy? When you get up above this line, it's straight. But when you get down and look along it, it goes up and down the ridges. I don't believe that this is as old as Atlantis. All this area would have been underwater. Atlantis was... well, let's just stop saying Atlantis and say the richat structure. Let me close that. Where are all my pages? Did I close everything? Okay, it's here. Good, good. Going back to the richat structure, all that area here along this was like a shore. You talked about salt. Somebody mentioned salt. I don't know if that was you, Trey. I think that was somebody else. No, it was somebody was trolling me. See, there's that line that I just showed you. That line is not so jagged now, is it? It's a little curved going around here. But the thing I really believe is that this salt, this playa lake is ancient, and it's older than the sand because the sand's covering it all up. And, you know, you don't know how big this ocean was. The ancient Tamanrasset River came through here, up over here, and along here and up. That's an ancient river as big as the Nile. You can see how wide it was right there. Okay, that was the river. So across from this area covered in sand, we have the Adrar structure. Now this is 2,000 feet above sea level. Well, when driving, okay, I'm reading your comments, Trey. Thank you for the questions. It's always good content if you're answering questions. Driving, I didn't remember seeing this one, so I think I drove past it over here. I think the road to get in there. And you know, those bastilles, those triangles that Jimmy was just talking about are right around here. Is that it? No. Look at that. More outcrops that have been mined. Oh, and one other thing, I'm not sure if you saw this or not, but inside the richat structure, we also have outcrops which have been mined over here. Very clear. Now, anytime I see lines like that, I just figure they were done by some creatures. And over here as well. Just keep following him. You know, it's like every one has it. This one has a lot of good ones. I mean, there's no saying that's natural. That's like people walking back and forth. And they're not roads. They're going through ancient outcrops. And you can see the lines that have been made through them. Why would they drive like that over and over again, creating that erosion? This one was very interesting to me. That looks like a main street right there. But if that's true, then this wouldn't have been filled with water. And the question is if this were filled with water, well, and those are kind of in the mountains, so maybe they could have been on one of those so-called islands. But this certainly, to answer your question, I could see this very clearly when I drove past it. I think I drove right through here. I don't remember seeing this or this or this. I mean, you can certainly see it now. Now I'm totally interested in these lines right here. See, I used to ignore stuff like that. Here's another one that could have been an outcrop that's bad photograph, right? But I definitely believe this is a crater. Trey, if you haven't watched my videos, this is the crater that destroyed Atlantis. If this were the concentric circles, then that crater right there, that if you look under the topographic map and you go there, you can see the mountains have disappeared. In the center island, that's a beautiful ring right there. That's a perfect ring. So, yeah, the place I was looking at here, that's where those outcrops were. So maybe they weren't underwater. But when you come here and you take a look at this ring, and yeah, you have an entry on the north, you have an entry on the east. You may have had an entry on the south, but have to be honest, the mountains are gone. If this was concentric circles, what happened to this quadrant? Nice to hear. You actually watch it on your television, huh? Well, hopefully they're showing up high res enough. All I know is I just started this video today to talk about some stuff. When you zoom out to a certain point, you can really see the ring right there. This was a crater, in my opinion. And the crater knocked out the mountains. The mountains are gone. And if there were walls, and one was gold, and one was silver, and one was orcalcum, how do you say it again? I forgot. And all that metal has eroded and corroded and is gone now. But back then it was blown apart by this crater, by this whatever created this crater. Well, all I'm saying is that if this were full of water, then the things here must have been higher, because I believe that the items in this island were as high as this shoreline. You wouldn't have an island down in the middle and be able to stand here and shoot down on it. Now, let's be clear. This is 5 kilometers down there. Look at the bottom. So this is 5, 10, 15. I mean, there must have been, if this were the concentric circles of Plato, and since I've been there, I believe it less. I'm not going to say I don't believe it anymore, but it's less convincing to me that there was anything on top of it. This is natural. I think it was an electric event, not electronic, that created this. But let's just assume that this actually was the concentric circles. I think it was more of an inspiration, because it's not as high as the edge out here. So if it were, it would now be the gums where teeth once were. The gums where teeth once were. A foundation of gums where teeth were once located that held all this a lot higher. And yeah, I can believe that, because when I was driving through here, there was nothing underneath. There's nothing underneath. If you're going to find nothing. Hey, Kofi. I was just thinking about you. Yeah, thank you for joining. Got me for another 5 minutes, and it's already been 74. Definitely don't believe there's anything underneath this. And it's not a dome geology. It's a depression. Okay, look at the numbers right here. Look at this high point. That's 2,000 feet above sea level. And look at the low point. That's at 700 feet down. So what happened to all this material? Well, I believe that it was magnetized by an electronic event, and those ripples that created, and I put those here, the frequency from a strike and like a magmatic ginormous electric strike. You can see the rings here. This is a lightning strike in a car. There's the original picture, and that's a lightning strike right there. And those rings are a frequency. Hey, I have SEN, HANSEN. Thank you, Kofi, for your confidence. And we're gonna meet soon. We're gonna meet someday soon. Although you're on the move, Kofi, you're on the move. All right, I'm almost out of here. Thank you. You could have listened to me from the beginning because I'm almost out of here. See, these are actual Lichtenberg patterns and radial discharge patterns. So when it comes to the creation of this thing, and could they have built on top of it? Maybe. I don't know anymore. I really don't want to guess anymore. I can share this with you if you ever want to go through these notes. Yeah, that Carrington event, that how do you say it? Let me get out of here. That it's a radial discharge of some type. Yeah, where are you right now, Kofi? Where are you right now? Yeah, well, that's a coronal mass ejection. That's assuming it came from the sun, right? So I was thinking it was more. Take a look at my 2013 video, and it's not me. About yeah, right here. I'm going to show you some things from it. It's a 2013 video talking about discharges from comets. Now, when Comet Ison went past Io, it actually created some stuff, and is it Io? Yeah, Io. Io is famous for having its volcano photoed up here, but when Comet Ison passed by it, the planet erupted in all sorts of activity, magmatic. There's a core of metal inside our planets, right? And so when they get passed by comets, look what Comet Ison did to Mars. There's Comet Ison, there's Mars, and when it passed by Mars, amateur photographers took pictures of it, and it had a flare-up. So these are actual photos of Mars. Now this one's quite interesting, right? And I don't have a lot of background information on this, but I think you could look it up because this was like taken from media. This was the rover on Mars at the time. Look at the horizon. It's got some type of a flare-up. Was it an electric phenomenon? So that's not a CME. That's more of a Carrington event. Here's another picture of Mars, and you can't even see the mountains in the back. So this is the rover on Mars documented this. And then, of course, Comet Ison went around and was a sun grazer. And that there it is right there. It went around, and when it came out, it was in pieces. So Comet Ison disintegrated. But let me just say this. If the pyramids have any properties to be conducting electricity or energy like that, this structure, this richat structure, the richat, this is technically the richat, right? But these adrar plateaus, they're 2,000 feet thick. I know they are because when I was in a tar and I drove up this mountain, you could see how there were layers and layers and layers of slate. Then if this would be like how many pyramids? 1 billion pyramids? If anything's going to attract that type of radial discharge, it's going to be the Adrar Plateau. It's like a big, huge pyramid. because it's holding all these rocks. So when people say that these are Linchenberg patterns, it's not hard to believe that maybe these things were created by an electric event. I drove up there. I saw how thick they were. You can watch the video because I videoed it. I put it on my channel. And this slate, as you're going up and down the mountain, you're seeing exactly how thick that 700 feet to 2,000 feet above sea level is. That's it. I think I got to get out of here, man. I'm talking so much. 90 minutes. Wah, 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 wee, wah, woo. So you're in Ghana. I got to go there. I thought you were leaving. Dr. Shock. I don't think you're going to get Dr. Shock to do anything in... We're talking about where, though, Trey? Where do you want him to go? You want him to look at... He's a geologist, so we want him to look at a couple things. And he probably knows stuff we don't even know. Yeah, I thank you for noticing that, Kofi. And I actually took your pictures and I posted them on the site. Oh, well, Dr. Shock... I mean, look, I drove along there. Let me just show you where I'm talking about. Because, honestly, the places I'm talking about are these rings. And when you're driving through here... Maybe I drove right through here, you know. It didn't feel... I think it's possible, but when I did it... Where's the road? You know what? We need to use this to find the road. This will help us find the road. When we get in here, we're not seeing the road. We're not getting any roads. Let's get a little closer. This is really good for finding roads, but I'm not getting it. Where's Satellites Pro? Maybe they can help. Satellites Pro. Help me find the road. Whoops. Satellite Pro has a problem zooming in and out too fast. No, that's the low part. Okay, so there you go. There you go. So there you go. I drove right through there. And that's why when I looked at this, I was far away from it. I saw it coming down the mountain. And then when I drove next to it, I didn't get that close. I mean, if I was that close, it didn't feel so close. We were in a hurry. I was actually in a hurry. What does that say? Guelb richat? That's misplaced. But look at those lines right there. That's actually really cool. Now I have to go visit here. Wow. What am I looking at? Why didn't I see this before? Oh, okay. I see where this is. This is inside. Yeah. No, I've seen this before. I just not on Satellites Pro. This is the quarries. These are the quarries on the east, on the west, on the east. But since we found the road, let's go back over to the road. So that's it there. So let's come back out and find that one more time. I'm lost. Is it? Oh, am I not north? See, that's the problem. You always got to be north. Okay, so it's now I see it right there. And now, I mean, let's assume that that's where I drove. That's not where the triangles are. See, I saw these mounds. Are those tents? Well, maybe I didn't see those. This is where all the people are selling stuff right there. But where are the two Bastilles? That's the question. Riche el Cadzer. What is this? Riche el Cadzer? So many new names that I've never seen before. All right, so there we go. I drove. Let me go back to the point I was trying to make. So yeah, I was driving through here, but it wasn't white to me. It was different colors, beautiful, beautiful colors. And as you cross these rings, and yeah, I believe these are rings. And look how the rings have changed. This is what made me realize this isn't made by man. It's not made by man. It's basically a layer of vitrified stones, and when you're going through here, you're driving through, you sometimes have to really slow down to get over. What's here? What's that? Where's the road? Let's find the road. The road goes, okay. According to this, the road goes up here, then this way. So I'm not seeing any roads. Oops, this is Google Earth. Let's go back here. Sorry. See, we do see the road here. And I just went this way. So there was no road here. There really was a road. You could see the remnants of a road, and then we went down this way. But I was looking for the castle. So I saw this, and we had turned, and I couldn't find the castle. I passed right by it. And we drove down a little farther. I'm like, we're not there. We got to go back. So the guy turned back, and we pulled right up on it right there. We just drove right up. Probably went up this way. Drove right up there, and we parked like right here and had to walk up. But what's over here? Like, I didn't stop here, and if I had known exactly, I would have. Well, no, okay, so let's stop calling them castles. This is the first one. I was there and took pictures. My drone failed me. I tried to take a drone shot, but my drone wouldn't get even started. I was pissed. But anyways, and then it's like time to go where to the next one. The next one's over here. It's right here. And I wanted to drive straight over there, but it was really impossible. So what we did was, I already knew that this was a pile of rocks and I didn't want to talk about it. So we drove back out here to this point, and then we drove this way. And that road is not so clear. I mean, it was very difficult to stay on a road. So we drove here. And where is it? Where is it? It's right there. We drove there. We followed this road. It's not really a road. And when I saw that, I realized this is the exact same thing as the castle. These are just fortresses. So that's Fortress 4, and Fortress 5 is right here. Right there. So, by the way, I don't even remember driving on that. I mean, if I did, it was all messed up. And I thought this was a big rock. It's just a circle of sand. I didn't see this. I went over here and took pictures of that and said, gee, it's exactly the same. So what I believe is that whatever military... Because I'll tell you what, the Atlantis Together boys... Atlantis Together is the group that went there just before I did and got 3D shots of all this stuff. So let's just think about this. They were here and they knew it was there. They walked directly this way. So how many kilometers is that? Those guys are crazy, right? They walked the whole way. So there's the castle and there's the place. It's easy to see once you know. So military, probably 100 years ago, probably more, they would march around this desert doing their war games, and due east, they would go due east and they'd walk out here and do more war games. So this is just a war game fortress. They had one that fell apart. They built a new one on top of the mountain. This one was a nice one. They had another one over here. I wish I knew how to find it. Fortress number 2. It's over here somewhere. I never bothered. Once I realized what they were, I was done. Here's a good one. Look at that line. Look at this line right here. Something I've never noticed before. How this goes all the way straight down. And you can see what I've discovered is... Yeah, it's a little old, but anyways. Why is it going straight down? Alrighty guys, I think I'm done. It's been almost 90 minutes, hour and a half talking. I didn't expect to have a new video today at all. And then I thought, well, why don't I talk about Mudfossil and also the new outcrops that I've been looking at out here. I think this is the most important thing, is to start kind of looking at these realizing that it's bigger than just the richat when it comes to these quarried outcrops. And you can see for yourself when you get in there. Right there, this is the same stuff. And using Satellite Pro was good. Okay, now you got it clear right there. Look at. Do I believe that this is natural? I don't anymore, because you see a line through here. You would think. I honestly don't know what to think. I don't know what to think, but I now trust, because I was thinking about for 2, 3, 4 years what Randall Carlson was talking about when he said that this place had been mined for hundreds and thousands of years. So this certainly does go past mainstream history. Even if Atlantis was never here, this whole area, it's definitely still a big mystery.